Good morning, Mount Olive Church, friends of Mount Olive Church. Happy Saturday to you. Hopefully, you have had a good week and are having a good start to your weekend. Do a quick devotion here on Pastor TJ's message from last Sunday on being free. And I want to talk just a second here to you about yield. This was kind of the part from the message that stuck out to me. Yielding, and just love the whole, of course, great message as always, from everyone in our church, but really enjoyed this one. It was really timely for me. And it seemed like even as the week has went on, I've seen it in action throughout our church and throughout our community and stuff, and just in different situations. But and I think that's true probably of any time. But the first of the verse, Romans chapter 6 and verse 16 says, "Know ye not that to whom ye yield, or to whom you commit yourself servants to obey, his servants ye are to whom ye obey. So whether of sin unto death or of obedience unto righteousness." So it's one way or the other, right? To whom ye yield yourself servants to obey, his servants ye are to whom ye obey. So I had this thought even during service there. It kind of popped in my head. We had just came back from the beach there last week. Of course, we were down there, but a lot of roundabouts down there, and this kind of popped into my mind that as you come into these roundabouts, we don't have these in Pound, by the way. Our roads are just they're straight. Um, but as you come into these roundabouts, you've got all these different options of when to get off, and it can be a little bit confusing sometimes for a boy from Pound. The first few times I had been in them, but in this particular place we stayed this past week, you went through literally 4 or 5 just to get to the place every single day, and so you got accustomed to it, but you had to make these decisions. You got into the roundabout. You had to make a decision. If you were just going straight, it was pretty easy, but if you had to kind of go all the way around to get to a different one, then it could be a little more difficult. And one of the first times I went out by myself, or not with the kids, Allison wasn't driving. If you know us at all, Allison drives everywhere. But one of the first times I went out, I took the wrong turn, took the wrong roundabout, and of course here we go through this subdivision. I've got to turn around and come back. But so what hits me about that is this roundabout. If I'm thinking in my mind, being in that roundabout is kind of like life. Sometimes I do feel like I'm going around in circles, but if I'm thinking about in life, and I've got all these decisions to make, I've got these roads that if I choose them, they will take me one direction or another. And I think that God is usually, or is not usually, he is always very clear on which roads to take and which ones to avoid. Now, sometimes I want to make it more muddy because I want to go down a different road than he wants me to go down sometimes, right? But I think it's very clear, just like the Google Maps was telling me to take the second one, and I took the first one because it looked like the right one. I think that happens in life sometimes too. And so as I'm making these decisions, what you say yes to, that's the choice that I'm going to make. Which road I go down is going to lead me in one direction or the other. One will lead me to death, one will lead me to life. And that's, not necessarily the case in a real roundabout, but in our lives, these choices we make can take us down the wrong road pretty fast. And the thing I love about this, and we'll kind of end right here, this is kind of a thought that I got right before I was putting this together, is if I make the wrong turn in this life, if I choose the wrong road to go down, if I take that first turn and the place I'm trying to get is on down the road, God doesn't just stand in the middle of this roundabout and wave to me and say, "I told you should have took that one. Good luck, buddy. You're never getting back where I want you to go." What he'll do is he'll meet me down the road with another roundabout to get me back on the path he wants me to get on. He never stands there. He never gives up on me. Even when I choose the wrong road, he's always there coming after me to try to get me back on the path he desires for me. And even if it doesn't look like the path for me to take, he knows it's the right one for me. And so I've got to trust that in my life, and we've all got to trust that in our lives. And just a quick kind of example, and I hope they don't care for me sharing this, but Brother Dave Mack had a successful liver transplant today, and we're so thankful. I'm so thankful to God that it worked out the way it did. It was kind of amazing to see. Michelle had texted us a few days back, and they thought they had a liver then, and it kind of fell through. And just, it was disappointing for me, and I can only imagine what it was like for them, because, we want Dave Mack to get better. And, but they were so positive about it. They were like, God's got a plan. It wasn't the right one. And so sure enough, a couple of days later, on Saturday, I'm filming this on Friday, came through the surgery successful. The doctor said the liver was perfect, fit perfect, was functioning perfect. And I think that's exactly the path, the turn that God wanted Dave Mack to take, and getting that liver that was designed for him this time. So certainly glad that worked out that way. We're just praising the Lord that it did. And so that's just a little real world example here from this week that's came true and yielding and going the right way. So hopefully you guys got something out of that today, and we hope to see you tomorrow at church. Come join us at 11. You guys have a good rest of your weekend. Love you guys. See you.